Things I wish I knew when I started playing Dead by Daylight: Killer Grasp Save Edition. There are 4 ways in Dead by Daylight that you can stun a killer who is holding a survivor and make them drop that survivor. These are flashlights, flashbangs or firecrackers, pallet saves, and head-on locker saves. First of all, timings on these saves are so important. The killer is locked in a pickup animation for 3 seconds, and the killer cannot be stunned out of this animation until the 3 seconds are over. If you start your blind or drop the flashbang too early, you will blind the killer before the animation is over, meaning the killer will be blind but they won't drop the survivor. If you do it too late, the killer will have time to move away the flashlight beam or the flashbang radius before the blind is finished. This is the same for pallet saves and for head-on locker saves. Number 1, let's talk about flashlights. The specific timing that is said to be perfect for flashlight saves is 1.72 seconds. However, it's almost impossible to be able to count this in your head unless you're like a superhuman, so I always go off of visual cues. The visual cue I use for a flashlight save is when the survivor reaches about shoulder level of the killer during the pickup animation. Number 2, let's talk about flashbangs. Let's think about it this way. It takes 3 seconds for the killer to pick up. It takes 2 seconds for a flashbang grenade to go off. Doing the math, this means that you should drop the flashbang 1 second into the killer picking up the survivor. Again, this may work for some, but I don't like doing this. I much prefer visual cue. The cue I use is to drop the flashbang when the killer's arm position changes between picking up the survivor from the floor and putting them onto their shoulder. But I understand the animation might be a bit confusing at first, so you could always just use the cue of when the survivor reaches the waist level of the killer. Number 3 is pallet saves and head-on saves. Again, you could count to 3, or you could use a visual cue. The best visual cue for these saves is the moment right after the survivor reaches and rests on the top of the killer's shoulder. This is when the animation ends, and the killer is able to be stunned. Sometimes it's easier to wait until the killer moves, especially if the killer doesn't know that you're there. You know that if the killer is moving, they are out of animation, so you will definitely get the save as long as they are still in the range of the pallet. It's also good to note that if you are running towards a pallet, the prompt to drop the pallet will not appear until you reach the other side of the pallet that you are running to. However, you can avoid this by starting to walk or stopping in front of the pallet. To increase your chances of getting the prompt and then actually getting the save, it's best to stop running once you reach the pallet. Also, if you are too close to the killer in the pallet while they are picking up, this can also remove the prompt to drop the pallet. So try to stay at a good distance, but still be in range of the prompt. I really hope this helps. Comment if there's anything else that you would like me to cover. Thank you for watching.